Hello everyone, I am Mandeep and today's topic of my video is about Ielts reading, that is MCQ, that is multiple choice questions. I believe that this is the most difficult type of questions for all of the students, but it is not that difficult actually. In this video, I will tell you how to solve MCQ. There is a section that is California Gold Rush of 1849, and in this paragraph or in this passage you are given 4 MCQs, that is 28, 29, 30 and 31. There are 4 options and you have to choose one, but in this MCQ there are 4 points and all the points are explained in the passage, but we have to find the best or appropriate answer. We have to analyze what is actually asked. According to that, we will find the answer. Like suppose there are 2 questions, 28 and 29. There are 4 questions actually. I will explain all the 4 questions, but for space shortage I have taken only 2 to explain you well, and I have taken only 3 paragraphs, but there are actually more than that there are G paragraphs. But as MCQs are given in the starting, that is 28, 29, 30 and 31, obviously the answer of these questions will be in the starting as well, so we need not find the MCQs in the later part. This is how that there are suppose 2 questions, 28 and 29. In the first question, the writer suggests that when the first question is about writer, their suggestions and their advice, obviously you will find the answer in the first paragraph. And also when MCQs are given in the starting, you will start looking for MCQ from the first paragraph. The first MCQ will be in first paragraph and the second will be in the next paragraph, because MCQ follow a pattern. One question in one paragraph, you will never find 2 in one. Okay, and as in the 29, what was the reaction in 1848? Obviously where the year is mentioned, you will get the answer in that. Like 1848 is given in the first line of the first paragraph, that is A, and in the second line of B paragraph. After that in the C, that is 1849 in the 5th line throughout 1849. So 1848 is in A and B, and there are 2 questions, 28 and 29. We can't find the 29 in A, because if we find 29 in A, then where will be the 28? So obviously 29 will be in B paragraph and 28 will be in A paragraph. Like, what is the question? The writer suggests that Marshall's discovery came at a good time for the US, because we have to find the reason that why it is considered as why the writer suggests that the discovery of Marshall was at the good time, why he considered it to came at a good time for the US. So we will check where the Marshall's discovery is mentioned. Like in A paragraph, in the first line is Marshall, a carpenter. There is some description. At that time Marshall was working for businessman, and it happens just as after Marshall's discovery. Here the word Marshall's discovery is given, where about the discovery is mentioned, and we will also look for that why it is as a good time for the US. Marshall's discovery, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed, means the treaty was signed ending the Mexican-American War, means they signed a treaty, an agreement that the war will end, and transferring California with its mineral deposits into the ownership of the United States. We do not need to read the whole paragraph. We can check the answer here, that when the Marshall discovery came, then a treaty was signed where the war ended and the California was into the ownership of United States. So that's why it is good, because then the transfer of California was under ownership of United States, that is US. So we will check for the options, that is A, B, C and D. In the A, Mexican-American War was ending, so there were men needing work. War was ending, but there is nothing mentioned about men needing work. B, his expertise in water power would be useful in gold mining. There is nothing that it will be useful in gold mining, but we have to look at why it is considered as a good time for US. In C, the population of California had already begun to increase rapidly, but there's nothing but that the population is increasing. Even if we check the last line of the A part, that at this time the population consisted of, means they just mentioned what is the population, that is 6500 California, 700 foreigners, and 1,50,000 Native Americans, but nothing about population increase. And even we don't need to read it because we have found the answer above. I just read it just to help you understand, but we need not read the line at that, the last line where the population of the territory is mentioned. Then the D, that region was about to come under the control of USA. That's the reason that the treaty was signed and California was under the ownership of United States. So the answer is D. So we can say that the answer is D. So the answer for 28 is D, because here the war, under the war, that is in the middle part of the A paragraph, that is the war was ending and the California was under the ownership of United States. In 29, what was the reaction in 1848 to the news of the discovery of the gold? Means when the news was announced, then what was the reaction of people? Okay, as we have found the answer in the middle of a paragraph, there are mostly the chances we will find the answer of next, that is 29, in the middle of B paragraph. There are the chances, but I will read the throughout, that it will help you to understand, but I say that the answer will be in the middle. This is my observation, that they follow sequence. Like what was the reaction in B paragraph from March? Said news was quite, but after, by mid-March 1848, when newspaper reported it, though the initial reaction in San Francisco was disbelief. Means what was the initial reaction? That the initial reaction was disbelief. Means they were not believing it, that it actually happened. Storekeeper Sam Behrman set up a frenzy which he is all, that is fringy, when he paraded through town displaying a small bottle containing gold. But we have found the meaning, that is the answer in the initial line, that is though the initial reaction in San Francisco was disbelief. After that maybe they believed it, but what was the initial reaction? They didn't believe it. So the answer will be, we will check the options, that is A, the press played a large part in convincing the public. No, the people didn't believe it. Many men in San Francisco left immediately to check it out for themselves. No. People needed to see physical evidence before they took it seriously. We can say that because they didn't believe it. They wanted evidence. That's why they didn't believe it. Men in other mines in the US were among the first to respond to it. Nothing about that. So the answer here will be, that is C. And what was the answer for 28? That is D. Now I hope this video helped you that where to find the answer, that we found the first answer in the middle of the paragraph, then again we found the answer in the middle of the next paragraph, that the initial reaction was disbelief. Okay, so the next question is 30 and 31, that we found the answers in A and B paragraph, then the next answer will be in C paragraph. What was the result of thousands of people moving to California? So we have to find what was the result when many people moved to California. Firstly, we will look the place where movement of people to California is mentioned, and after that what is the result given. Like in the C paragraph, if we, as see in C paragraph, there are two paragraphs, that is two subparagraphs. Then we can say that the answer, as we have got in the middle, so we can say that here we can get the answer in the later part of the paragraph, that is in the end of the C first paragraph or in the end of the second paragraph of C. It means either here or either here. But here so we will firstly look that where the movement of people is given, that is the news spread, first migrants were, but there is nothing about many people moved. Then only later would the news reach throughout 1849 thousands of people around United States. Means many people or thousands of people moving to California. Around the United States, mostly men borrowed money, mortgaged their property, or spent their life savings to make the arduous journey to California. Means thousands of people, what they did for moving to California, they mortgaged their property, borrowed money. And the pursuit of the kind of wealth they had never dreamed of, means they wanted to get the gold, means what they haven't really thought that they will ever get gold. But they left their families and local areas. In turn, their wives had no option but to shoulder different responsibilities such as running farms or businesses, and many made a real success of them. Means what was the effect? When many people moved, they borrowed money, mortgaged their property, and what was the result? That the wives had to take the responsibility. So it was the result. If you check the options, San Francisco couldn't cope with the influx of people from around the world. No. The result was the wives have to take the responsibility. B option, many minors got more money than they could ever have earned at home. No, it is mentioned that they have never dreamed, but they have never earned. It is not that. But it is also not the result. Some of those who stayed behind had to take an unexpected roles on. Means obviously those who stayed behind wives, they had to take on unexpected roles. Means they have to look after the farms, which usually men do. The D option, new towns were established which became good places to live. But the option is C, that is the answer, that the wives had to take the responsibility. That is the result of movement of people. Next, so firstly the answer for C will be C. Answer for 30th question will be C. The next question, 31. What does the writer say about using pans and rockers to find gold? Pans and rockers. So we will look where the pans and rockers are given. Like in the D paragraph, how did all these wood miners be searched for gold? Panning was the oldest way. Panning is mentioned here, and rocker is mentioned in the first line of another paragraph, that is E. Another way was to use what was called a rocker, and E is a long paragraph that is in 2 sub paragraphs. So the question is, what does the writer say about using pans and rockers to find gold? Obviously, when he had talked about pans as well as rockers, after that he will say something about both. So according to me, the answer will not be in D paragraph. Because obviously after describing both pans and rockers, he will describe that what he say about both. As in the E paragraph, that is the first sub paragraph, he described the rocker, and the both will be obviously be described in the second part of E paragraph, that is here. So according to me, that is according to my observation, answer will be here. What does the writer say about using pans? We can look here, but as we have doubt that where the answer is given, we can start looking for the answers according to the options, that A, B, C, D. As the option is both methods require the addition of mercury, we can check where the mercury is mentioned. But still, to help you understand, I will also look in the D, but according to me, you will get the answer in that here, that where I have mentioned. In the D, we can look for mercury. In D, there is no mercury. And in the first sub part of E paragraph, another way, that is mercury, nothing about mercury in here as well. So we will look in the next part, that is the rocker had advantages and disadvantages. And mercury, here is this given, that is mercury. Some miners added small amounts of mercury to the bottom of the rocker, means it is used in rocker. Due to its chemical composition, it had the facility to trap fine gold. So it is only mentioned in rocker. So both methods are not required to use mercury. B, a rocker needed more than one miner to operate it. If they needed one miner, it will be an advantage. If they have to use more, it will be a disadvantage. So obviously the answer should be here, that rocker had advantages and disadvantages. The advantage were that it was easily transportable, didn't require a constant source of water, and most importantly, a miner could process more dirt and rock than with the pan. Means one miner can collect more than with the pan. So obviously one miner can do that. So but the point was, a rocker needed more than one miner, so it is opposite. A and B both can't be the answers. Then we will look for C and D. C, pens were the best system for novice minors to use. Pens, as it here rocker is mentioned, pen would be in D paragraph. So we will check here whether it is for novice, that is beginners, or whether it for the experts. And the D option is miners had to find a way around a design fault in one system. Means there is a fault and they had to find a solution to that. So there is a fault, so obviously it will be a disadvantage, and for that they have to come up with a solution. So I think answer should be in there here, as here the disadvantages are mentioned here in that part. But firstly we will look for C. In the pens we will check where it is mentioned it is for beginners or it is for experts. Like in D, panning is the oldest way, basic procedure, careful swill mixture, material spilled over the side, gold nuggets, bottom of the pan, gold panning, most skillful miner. So the gold panning was slow even for the most skillful miner. Means it was slow for even for the skillful, means but it was slow but the skillful person can do. So but the point is pans were the best for novice, it is not for beginners. The skillful person can do. C is not the answer, so the answer would be D. But to make sure we need to check, as there is a fault we have to find a solution, so obviously it will be a disadvantage to which we have to overcome. So the primary disadvantage was the rocker had difficulty in trapping the smallest particles of gold known as fluor. Here I am reading over here. And some miners added small amounts of mercury to the bottom. The disadvantage was that they couldn't trap small particles, that is like a fluor or powder. So the miners needed to add mercury, and due to its chemical composition it had the facility to trap. Means they find a solution that with mercury they can collect even the fluor form, that is powder form. They have come up with a solution that is for the fault. So the answer would be D. So what were the answers? That in the initial 28-29, D and C, and here C and D. We'll look further what are the answers. D, C, C, D. These were the answers that I was looking for, that I had found, that is DC and CD. I hope this will help you understand where to do MCQ actually. And here this is a Facebook page, that is Complete Success IELTS, and also website, that is ielts.completesuccess.in. And if you like this video, do press the like button and also share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed my channel, do subscribe. Thank you.